We're gonna go back to the channel. I don't know if we're on. Let's see. There we are. Jesus Louises. So that was a headache. Now the only thing is I really can't see comments. Sorry about that, everybody. I was trying to use Restream, but I got a driver update going on for some reason. Let me see if I can get in here. Close that out. Videos, live, because we can always use this. Oh, there we go. Now I can see comments. Let me do one more thing. But we don't want that. Settings. So I was trying to use live stream, a restream. It didn't work so well. What is this? Come on. No, I can't get back on. I want picture in picture. Let's get that off there. Bigger. There we go. So let me put that up there. Yeah, I'm back. We tried to do the I guess let me just hold this because then I can see better. I need something to see. Yeah, the first time I was trying to do it's called Restream, but for some reason it wouldn't it like blacked out and wouldn't and then it froze it. So yeah, no, I couldn't use Restream. So I was going to use Restream and it was giving me a problem, but I had did a test run and it was okay. And for some reason it was giving me an issue, so now I can't go on there. Play some Van Halen. I don't know why. Let me see if I can go in my settings again. On this one. Come over here. Fucking shit. Giving me issues. Let's see. Can I get back in here? Yeah, there we go. Because I was having trouble. And I got a driver update going on the computer, so we can use this. So I probably won't be playing guitar. What do you think? Yeah, I won't be able to I don't think it's gonna work if I play. That's my opinion, because I don't know what the Restream thing did. So I'm gonna have to call Restream and see what they did, but they'll be probably in the morning. Can you guys hear my voice? Yeah, it's nothing but issues, man. I mean, they make it so fucking hard. Now my computer's doing a fucking driver update because I had these companies that I updated everything. Now they're sending me all these pop-ups and I can't get out of that. So, but now I can see some of it. Let me see. And it's just circling. Yeah, I can't get that off for some reason. Yeah. So it is what it is. It's always something. Sing some Alan. I'm not a good singer, bro. Um, what do I think about the Fender suing the Strat shape? I actually think that that's a ploy. You know, I think they're going to try to sue, but I don't think it's going to go through. At the very minimum, Fender's lost a lot of money, and what's going to happen with Fender is bad publicity is good publicity for them. Always again, they're TV news stations aren't going to show you the guy helping the old lady crossing the street. They're going to show the guy driving the 18 wheeler, ignoring her and crashing into her. That's more sensationalized than the good deeds. So bad publicity, what Fender's doing is everyone's talking about Fender and it's working. At the very most, I think that because Fender is a part of EVH and some of these other companies like Reverb, I think what's going to happen is I think that they might do a licensing deal like Floyd Rose. Floyd Rose owns the patent, which, you know, see, it all goes back to the patents, and the old copywriting and the patents are different things. And when they started the old patents like Gibson and Fender, it was really hard, and those laws really sucked when they first came out. And they had a lot of different parts patented on the guitars, but not the body shape, and that's led into copyright and some other things. And now they're trying to push that issue, but I think at the very minimum, I think that if it's just gonna get that, it's like a PR stunt. And I think the other thing is maybe because you have to understand if they sue and win and nobody can own the strap body, they're gonna cut millions of dollars in sales off a reverb that they would get in commissions for fees. That would be the stupidest thing they do. Now, if they license it and like Floyd Rose and everybody pays them for the licensing, but I don't know if that's going to hold up in a patent court, maybe a copyright, but that's different. So when you look at Floyd Rose being patented, I don't think that the bodies are patented like Gibson, but they use copyright because it's so close. So I think that that's the issue. Yeah, and that's just Europe right now. So again, and Europe has a lot of power because they're the ones that changed the iPhone cables again, because they have a union over there, put pressure and said, no, one cable for all phones and stop playing around. And iPhone seceded and they actually did what they demanded because Europe was going to say, then you're not allowed to sell your phones here. And they lose billions of dollars. What's up, Steven? Did they license the patent? That I don't know. They've already been offered license deals to the companies in Europe. What's up, Steven? Hey, Piggy Twiggy. There's yeah, I don't think it's gonna go through. I really don't think it'll go through. Man, I wish that I could get that off my screen. 58 minutes it's on there. Yibby. I don't know how I can get that off. If I click this, what happens? Be much easier if I could read it here. Battery status, speaker. Yeah, it just won't let me do that. I guess it's doing a driver update. I got 58 minutes, but I don't know. Hey, Michael. Yeah, I wish I can. I put this up on top. I wonder if I could put that on top. You know what? I might be able to mount that too. Let me see. Let me see. Sorry about this, everybody. I'm gonna see if I can actually get this up here too. If I can, then it'll actually benefit me to read while I'm looking at the screen. So we're gonna tighten that. And let's see. Will that work? Let's see. Let's see. Can I get it in there? Then I don't have to look down. Don't fall on me. And let's see, can I clean that? Let's see if I can Clean the camera lens. Yeah, because when I was doing this before, it locked up. We'll see. See if that works. And this is actually in real time compared to that. Actually, this looks better than that. That looks better than that. I just wish I could make the fonts a little bit bigger. But now I can kind of look at this and read it. Because issue with the OFR replicas, or they can, yeah, that's the thing. Like some of the replicas, they can use different metals, but that would constitute pricing too. But here's so here's the thing about this too. So if you wanted a Gibson signature Les Paul, you have to change two of the existing features. So if Les Paul's patented and they didn't patent the stainless steel frets, maybe you add titanium frets and you reverse the toggle. So that's what PV did. They reversed the toggle on the EVH. So that toggle's reversed from what EVH wanted. You know what I mean? So if you change two existing things on a patented guitar, you can make it your signature guitar. So with that in mind, you can't really say the PV is a Strat body. Now, if you look at the Schecter behind me, you can see that it's not exactly a Fender Strat body. And you can't say Fender Stratocaster. You can say Fender Stratocaster, but maybe they don't call it a Strat body. Maybe that is something more along the lines of, you know, they put contours on the body and they change the actual overall look of it. And then it's not a Fender because Fender isn't shaped like that exactly. So you can see the Schecter in the green. I don't know which way can I go. This way. The green is more rounded on the ass end, where there's a straighter line on the Fender. So like you can see where the purple is, there's a straighter line coming off that. And the bottom has a contour on the Fender compared to the Schecter. And the Schecter's horns are different. So even though it looks similar, it's not an exact replica. You're going to bring up some of the Fender issues. Yeah, that's why I don't think that they're going to be able to win this. Yeah, and they would have to. The other issue with that. Driver. Okay, let me see this. Did that close? No, it's frozen. Send bug report. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, yeah. So like they'll send the letters to the open companies and stuff, and we'll have to see what it does in Europe, because in reality, the SEC and the AI laws, it's all done by Congress, and whoever pays and lobbies the biggest gets the law in their favor. Oh, thanks, cool hat. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of lobbying, because Fender's not going to win a lawsuit if they don't pay millions of dollars to someone's campaign fund, and it's going to take more than one person. You're going to have to the campaign fund is going to have to go to more than one person. I don't know what happened on this. Let's see. Maybe we turn that off and close it for now. Let's see. Single cut or double cut. Yeah, I mean, because even Gibson's got the SG. That's like a double cut. So like you can get away without saying Strat. Like what do they call these? The super shredder. So maybe they come up with a different name, super strat, like a super shredder, Valley Arts shredder. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to actually make that not the same. And that's kind of what this is. It's kind of shaped almost just taking the horns off. You know what I mean? So the horns were reduced. But here again, EVH came after PV. So PV owns the rights to this. So does EVH lose everything because PV ends up going after Fender? Because don't forget, PV had like those Predators and some of those other Strat guitars as well. You know, single cut, double cut. What is the way you saying Strat? Yeah, yeah. Wish I could make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? I don't think anything will come of this. Yeah, I don't think anything will come of it as well. The 24, yeah, and scale length and everything. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to really be hard to say that. And then again, what will be illegal? Will GNL or Music Band be illegal? Because those were actually owned by like Leo Fender. So, do they sue their own companies? That's why I don't think it's gonna like again case law and all that stuff. I don't think it's gonna go that far. I think it's just a PR stunt. I really do. I think it's a PR stunt. Yeah, I agree. I agree with almost what everybody's saying. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about it, but you have to remember that when a lot of people talk, a lot of times they don't get it right either. Like I like Philip McKnight, so don't get me wrong. But when he says he's friends with the CEO of Guitar Center, that's complete bullshit. You're not going to dinner with this guy. You're not hanging out. You guys aren't best friends. You're acquaintances. It's a business thing. You're not friends with him. You're friendly with him as an acquaintance, but you're not friends. You're not, hey, dude, what are you doing today? Hey, man. Uh, the word tour, they use these words generally speaking. A tour for me is not you put an album out and you do 8 shows in clubs up the coast. That's not a tour to me. A tour is what I did back in the day, playing stadiums and arenas. By the way, I did get an update. They do know who gave Zach the information, and the FBI reached out to me and they want to know if I want to press charges. And it's a friend of mine. This is a tough fucking decision for me because they caught who was giving Zach the information. He's going down next as well. Um, so he's about to get a world of shit on him. Him, I will press charges, but that's another crazy story. So what I was told is the reason why Zach stopped with the whole bullshit with, oh, you're not who you say you were and blah blah, because he actually verified what I did. Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, as far as the competing and stuff, and I did get I was gonna use Stream. I got this as well. And I don't it's probably gonna sound like shit actually. Let's see. Let's see if it sounds like shit because I am hooked up. So this is a I got this from Joe Wentz. Joe Wentz project. He's got a great show. Check him out. He's got, and I noticed he did the ball ends different than how I did. This is really cool how he actually did this, and it sounds good. It plays good. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think Phil's gonna ask him to go to Top Golf. I don't think so either. Yeah, yeah. He's working against me. So there, the charges. So what? There was 4 charges against him. and they said that they're going to contact. I won't say the officer's name, but he's supposed to get a hold of me this week. Something conspiring, stalking, releasing non-public information that went public without a assigned form. And what was the other one? There was one more. I can't remember what it was. What's up, Joe? I don't know how. I don't even know if you guys heard the guitar, but dude, this guitar is awesome, and I really like the guitar. It fucking plays great. So, and Joe, I can verify those Team U cases are fucking awesome. They were $30. Those Team U cases you were buying, the grayish case, that's a really nice case, man. I was kind of shocked that how good that those looked too. You can't hear the guitar at all. Oh, it's squashed, totally squashed. Yeah, probably. And that might have something to do with the. I was trying to use Restream, and the Restream kind of is in my system, and I couldn't get this pictures to switch around on it, which was weird, and then it froze on me. So I was like, I didn't have time. I didn't have time to get out of I just got out of Restream and went back to regular streaming. So I was like, because it was already 8:35. Oh, super squashed, yeah. So I do have Restream. Something happened with it, so I got to go back in there and see. But it was something about pop-ups, and I had to disable that, and then it showed it going through, and I saw it said Restream on there, but I didn't see the picture, so I don't know what that was. But I'll get it. I'll get the Restream going if I don't use Restream, because Restream is actually giving it to me for free, the Pro one. I don't know why, but um it's kind of cool. And then if it doesn't go through, I'm going to use that EV Mux that Joe uses. Yeah, he's not a friend, bro. He's not a friend. And I'll tell you why he did it. He got fired from my band. And he saw the videos and he reached out to Zach and told him a bunch of information, but some of that information was not completely valid. Um, because he kind of elaborated on stuff because he was pissed off. Yeah, I got my own talk show. What's that say? Just chatting is cool. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that guitar is awesome. It plays well. It plays really good for real. And it's no marks and stuff on there. But the case is really nice as well. Those He said that he buys them off Temu. I think he said they ship him $30 to him. He buys them for $30. Hey, what's up, Tucker? Yeah, I'm okay. I got sick Friday. My stomach again. I still have issues with that. And then I woke up today. I was super tired. That's weird. No sound on the guitar. Oh, it was sound. It was super squashed though, right? So weird. Hey, Scott. Yeah, AI is gonna put a lot of them out of business because they don't need session players no more. The session players, I mean, here's session play. I when I was writing and doing everything for these labels, I did something different than what AI does. I would do a lot of layering, layers, layers, and layers. But when I was doing orchestrations and stuff when I was a kid, you had first, second, third, fourth, fifth violin. So you can get the violins to work together or go in different motion. But the cool thing about that was you could have one just kind of doing a note and the other one doing staccato, and then the other two following and building a chord with a one and a five. There was a lot of ways that were really cool that I experimented with, and I knew how to do that because I played piano. That was my main instrument, and AI doesn't really layer like that. Now that's the difference between these studio guys because they're so efficient. They like one or two tracks and they don't do the Def Leppard thing. They don't do a whole lot of layering, but the session work is down big time. Listen, Joe Walsh has been doing tours. A lot of people have been doing tours. And then I saw that Tom put the professional studio at one of his things where he said that he was doing a session and it was for some unknown. So who gives a shit? It was at Keith Urban's. I don't who the guy rented that. He didn't rent it. So he got called to do on a no name session work. Who gives a shit? Again, like I those jobs are few in between for people like him because he demands a lot of money because of who he is. You can get a kid to do session work for so cheap now that is so fucking good. A lot of you got there's so many people out there. Ross Campbell's out there from Australia. There's Rue. There are so many good fucking guys out in Nashville, and they're all rock guitar players, and they know the technique of the Def Leppards and this and that, and they're very efficient and they're very good for their ages. They're technical rock players that are out there, and it's a different train of thought. It's a different school. And with AI being out there, plus you got these rock musicians, it's gonna hurt Nashville. Yeah, the case I get it. Joe is are those cases $30 shipped? Sounds like how you arranged the ladies when you were young. Waddy? Wait, I can't see that. WADD? Yeah, Waddy. Who's Waddy? Is that another dominant joke? Waddy the dominant? Waddy Quail? No. Yeah, yeah. Those the session gigs are going way down. But that's why it's kind of like a lot of these actors, they're going into YouTube to be social media stars now because they know that the money's easy. And what's happening is that a lot of these shows are coming on and they're infiltrating. It's like some American people who figured out they can make money on YouTube and they started careers out of this. And now all these famous people, they come on and they get like a million subs like that because it's Shaquille O'Neal or somebody like that. I don't think YouTube is a place for celebrities. I really don't. I think that they should not have the same standards. I think they should have a celebrity YouTube. They should have a rock YouTube. And that way the servers don't get all tied up. Oh, 55 and 65 ship. They're nice cases. So that's like, I mean, if hard cases like that are like probably what 120 out of Guitar Center. And I gotta say it's a nice case. I'll validate that. That's a really nice case. Oh, Stevie Nicks' guitar player. I don't know who really plays with her anymore. My words have iron. Yeah, so like, you know, and here's the thing. I wrote number one hit songs out of this place. I don't have to travel to be a session guy. I can do sessions right here. So why the fuck I save my time, my energy. I don't have to all my shit's here. I don't they send me something, hey, can you fix this? Can you do it? Can you do a guitar part? So I send them the guitar track separate from that. And what they'll do is they might go backwards and count me off, or I'll do a click on there for them. 1 2 3 4, and then it starts on the one so they can put it into the song. But I always send them the track separate and the track on the mix. And if the, and they and th- it's easier for them. Sometimes they'll leave it, sometimes that's how it goes for me. So like if I write music on something, they'll say, you know, this is the main guitar part. We're gonna have a session guy come in and put a couple things that I want over that, for something, whatever they want to do to it. I don't give a shit. Just pay me for the track through the label, and then I'm done. I don't really care about that, but sometimes they'll tell me they want me to do a couple more parts. Sometimes they'll say, "Can you fix this track that somebody else did and it's not working for the artist?" And they're asking for you, or you know what I mean? It all depends on the producer and who it is. But like when I look at people out and like you have to look at and this ain't trying to blow my own horn. I play with Dave Spitz from Sabbath and Patrick Johansson. We're probably gonna use my old singer and Terry from XYZ and maybe Gabrielle from Lynch Mob. I don't see guys like Teabags out there doing that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? He's kind of stuck now to just selling gear and a couple sessions here and there. I think he's done. That's my opinion. I think he's done. I think I think a lot of the session guys are done. And I think a lot of these guys are going to have an issue. And if they bought these mortgages with these big mortgages, and who knows what's going to happen to them. I don't know. Why do you watch him? Oh, Leland? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know him, but I mean, there's a lot of guys that like I just talked. Do you guys know who Stevie Salas is? Salas Salas. Stevie Salas. He's an old friend of mine. No, a lot of people don't know who he is. He's from the old GIT days, but he's played with he's done stuff with Mick Jagger. He's done stuff with Rod Stewart. He's one of the big guys, but a lot of people don't know who he is. Stevie Salas, great fucking guitar player. They're gonna start touring. Yeah, and then and like I've already said, what Live Nation is doing. For me to rent the Hard Rock for 600 grand, they rent the Hard Rock for Taylor Swift for 600 grand. Then they bill her 1.2 million for the rental to justify ticket prices. I'm exposing that when that starts getting around, and guys like Rick Beato, if they're in the business, they would fucking know that. And that justifies the ticket price on paper. But what they're doing is splitting the fucking proceeds and they're making tenfold. That's fucking wrong. Yeah, but the labels won't allow that, Deer Creek. You know that. I mean, small bullshit labels, yeah. But like Atlantic Records, that's the thing. Like when Rick said he produced Shinedown, bullshit. The Atlantic Records signed Shinedown. They have their own producers. They recorded Shinedown. Now you might get a production credit because you added a couple things in there, but They have in-house producers, they have in-house writers, they have session guys that those producers like to work with that are very friendly with the labels. You know, where they would call somebody like a Steve Lukather or a Stevie Salas or even me. But you know, those little shithole record deals and those little things that they're talking about with these no-name guys. Of course, that in-house producer for the, like, say, Blackbird Studios, they'll have a in-house producer that will call Tom. But those days are far and gone. That whole idea of recording and all that is gone. And I can't tell you what I just consulted with, but it had to do with all the labels and some AI companies. There's something going to come down the line where it's licensing, but it's friendly enough where people aren't losing uh their material when say Suno remixes it and claims that master. There's something going on with the licensing that happened last week. I can't get into it specifically because they're trying to work it out. Crack killed Applejack. Yep. Yeah, he's over in Japan right now, if you know who that is. So he does a lot of work in Japan now. Japan pays big money. That's why like Marty went over there and stuff as well. Yeah, and like guys like Vince Gill, I mean, I don't know what the record deals are, and I don't even know if he still has a record deal. He might do a tour and try to put out like a single or something, but I don't Vince Gill is irrelevant now. You know what I mean? Journey, no record deal. They're irrelevant. They might put out a new record, but it's not gonna be it's gonna be on like a smaller label in a distribution deal. Yeah, yeah. They're the record deal days with these older guys, and they're just abusing these people. Like I said, Great White has Brett Carlisle. They're going to run him into the ground, and his youth is going to be go by, and he's going to be irrelevant because he's too old to market to the young kids. That's happening with Eric Cromwell when he was with Skid Row, and they were putting him into the ground. The guy from Journey, what's his name, Pinnell? He's too old now. He looked great before. Now he's starting to look like an older man. He's not marketable for Journey anymore. He looks like an older gentleman. So what's Journey do? Are they going to get rid of him and get some young, good-looking kid to make him relevant? Alice Cooper does it with social media girl guitar players. Let's face it, they're not as good as some of I'm sure there's guitar players in right here that can fucking outplay them girls. No offense, but they're using these people and abusing them and burning them out, and that also ruins music. That's why I said that before. If they keep doing that, it's going to continue to ruin music. Yeah, Willis Zappa. Yeah, guitar is huge in Japan. Yeah, absolutely. And there's another issue going into this European lawsuit. Fender and Gibson have custom shops in Japan. Like the Godzilla guitar, that wasn't done here in the United States. That was done in Japan. Yeah, he does it for fun. Yeah, and that's what I think about like some of these guys, like, you know, like Joel. Joel was in Whitesnake and stuff, but he was never given the opportunity to write songs in a permanent band. And now, you know, he's going back with Stephen Piercy, and Red Beach is back with Winger. Winger was retiring. Now they're not going to retire because Red needs a job. These guys that were hired guns that they thought these other bands, and believe me, I just watched Mike Tramp. He's a good friend of mine. He needs to retire. Sorry, Mike. I heard you live. That guitar player that you has sucks. You're not hitting those notes like you used to. Uh, David Lee Roth needs to retire. Vince Neil needs to retire. I mean, there's a lot of them that do. Don Dokken. What was that? Cheryl? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cheryl. I met her once. It's in Miami. Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. Yeah, it's a good lesson. Yeah, she studied under Segovia. I used to listen to Segovia all the time. That's where I got most of my when I from piano, and my grandmother was a classical pianist. From her, she told me about like Itzhak Perlman, Andre Segovia, a lot of these different musicians with that, and I I I really liked Andre Segovia with a who a crit. I think it says Christian singer. Really? Yeah, but he put professional in big letters, which was kind of funny to me because I know he's watching the channel. He's been good. I'm pretty sure he got his talking to, and Zach is on the shit list next for the FBI. I know that for a fact. I got some emails. I just saw them. One of them implicates a friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name, but he's no longer a friend. And he, they're asking if I want to press charges because he lives here near me. So they're going to have to, the FBI wants actually the police department to press charges. You know, it's like I just watched Stone Temple Pilots, right? Looks like what's his name's wearing a wig, overweight, the guitar player, Dean Delano, and the singer sucks. He has no fucking he's got the moves and this whole thing going on, but he doesn't he's like trying to force like that sound, but he just doesn't have it naturally. And then like so this kid or guy is in Stone Temple Pilots. There's no chance of another fucking record deal. They're gonna burn his voice out, and he's probably gonna be happy with it, making his $500 to $600 a show 3 times a week. What's up, Cool Breeze? Yeah, when Mike did the acoustic stuff and reworked the songs, it was pretty good. But now he can't hit the notes. It's like wait, I never gonna love you. It's not like the old days. Wait, I never. It's just not. It's not the same. And he's dancing like like show dancing. I'm like, dude, stop. You're fucking ruining the idea of hair metal. Oh, you saw Itzhak Perlman? Holy shit. What's really going on? Yeah. Hitting supper in 30. Nice. All right, Dirk Creek. Oh, Frankie Valley. Yeah. That was harsh. Really harsh. Yeah, and I went on she was a European and popped up in my feed. I went on her channel today. I don't know her name. It was kind of cool because like 3 or 4 people knew who I was over there too. They were like, "We love your channel, man. Cool." I was like, "What?" Kind of threw me for a loop, and I was trying to get in on that. She was talking about Fender as well. Yeah, that guy could play a fucking violin. Yeah, I saw John. You were on what's her name? Kaylee Kent? Kayla Kent? Is that her name? I watch her, but I forget her name. It's a fucking whacker. She's a good guitar player. She's got that whole Pantera shit down. But what's sad is the guy's bugger. She reminds me of what's her name? Thelma from Scooby Doo. It's funny to watch her because she's got like this super sweet demeanor. Well, if people just don't like him, you can fuck off. Her crowd change. Yeah, I feel bad for her because she's just a young girl, man. You fucking same thing. Fucking Phil Anselmo talking about don't do this. Dude, you're the most fucked up person I've ever met. You should not be giving any advice to a young lady. You should just shut the fuck up and be lucky that you're even standing next to a young girl like that. You know what I mean? He's a legendary singer, but dude, out of all the people to give fucking advice to out of a music career, you fucked Pantera royally up. You saw Frankie Valley? Oh, you were a volunteer? A clique of asshole simps. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because I watch. I mean, if I saw anyone get out of line, I would have fucking said something to them. Yeah, Thelma goes metal. She's a good guitar player. Her name's Kayla Kent, and she's a sweet girl. And she's got that whole Pantera sound thing down. I really like the way she does the dive bombs with the whammy and stuff. And she's using an old Johnson Millennium 120 combo. I saw it underneath the desk. Did you see that, John? I never met Frankie Valli or seen him live. I don't think so. Not in person. I saw Elvis live in person in 1977. Yeah, I like Kayla. She's cool. And good for her that she can stand up for herself. But I mean, she can be influenced at this point in her life. But people should just leave her the fuck alone. She's just a young girl trying to do so. She made a lot of money. She make $500. I mean, she was up to around $500 when I was watching her. The librarian. Yeah, and here's the thing. Like I've met Dimebag. I've played with Vinny. I've played with the guys from Hell Yeah. They're fucking awesome. Those guys are no bullshit. They're really super nice guys and they don't bullshit around. Phil is a bullshitter. 100%. And I'm not going to discredit him as being one of the best metal singers cuz Pantera was one of my favorite bands of all time. But he needs to he ain't nobody's fucking daddy. You know what I mean? Oh, the pentagram dude. That guy fucking trips me out, man. I don't. I talk. I, 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 I call my kid, Tristan, come here. You got to see this fucking guy. It's like crazy looking. Yeah. I don't even remember how old I was. I saw Elvis a month before he died at Hollywood Sportatorium. My dad took me. And the crazy thing is he had two of his guys carry him off the stage on the side because I was like on the side of the stage where because my dad was a cop, so there it was like a security area. And his feet were dragging down the stairs to the backstage. And I was kind of near the backstage watching them drag him. It made me upset because I was just a kid. Lee Aaron. Yeah, he that guy's eyes are bulging out and stuff. It's crazy. I I don't I watched his band. I don't I don't know if I like it yet. I watched it twice, like live. I don't know what to make of it. So like I think Kayla, if I was to offer her advice, she should play a lot more genres. I know she plays some of the hair metal stuff, like she played Whitesnake the other night and everything. And she needs to find she needs to get with like maybe a one of these girl drummers. Or there's a lot of metal girl drummers. She needs to get with a metal girl drummer and maybe like I think if she's gonna play metal, her best bet is to get a male singer, a male bass player, maybe a girl drummer and a girl her and maybe another girl guitar player. Yeah, Damage Plan was good, man. No, I didn't. There's a documentary about that fucking guy. Yeah, a domination. A what's it called? Domin. I can't remember that place. The castle place. The Dominion or Dominion. I forget the name of it. It's over in yeah, near Russia. Dominating, dominating. I forget the name of it. What's that say? The Go Go's. Then you'd have the Go Go's. Yeah, metal version of the Go Go's. Yeah, she's really good. She almost made me go out and buy that. I know where I can get one of those amps. Donington. That's it. The those Johnson Millenniums have a preamp tube in those. And that Johnson Millennium, that those whole amps with all that modeling, that's who Line 6 bought. And that's what Robert Fripp from King Crimson, he loves those amps. I had one. I don't have it anymore. But those are really good sounding fucking amps. I know where I can get a cab and a head that's never been sold. And let me see if I put this back on too so I can read. That documentary. You got 150? Oh, what happened? Maybe it's Iran fucking with my computer. Johnson Millennium, yeah. Oh yeah, 150, that's it. Those are great sounding amps. Let's see if I can get all this stuff off. And if I let's close it all out. Can I close it? No, it's like frozen. Driver updater is not responding. Close the program. Let's see. I'm gonna close the program. Yeah, it's a really cool amp. I like it a lot. Sponsored. I can get rid of you. That one's just stuck on there. bite. Driver up later. Let's see. Oh, bite. Like your song. And focus settings, sound setting. I got it off. Yes. Yes. Now I can see my. Now I can load YouTube. My laptop's way bigger. The G3012. Yeah. Let's see. Where am I? Vola guitars? I don't know. I don't know what is that? Yeah, yeah. I have some of that stuff. Sign in. Let me see if I can do it this way. Some of that stuff does sound good. Like I toured with a Digitech 1101. Those things sound great. Come on, get on my channel, baby. Yeah, the Digitech stuff was really good too. Lords and ladies. I don't know, what is that? Oh, there I am. All right, now I can see. Yes. Yes. Get on. Pull this out. Put the screen back. Australia. Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate that. We got there's a couple people. Oh, you like the Pac-Man cat? There's a couple people that come on here from Australia. Allison, Tony's from Australia, right? Tony, I don't know if he's on here. Let's see. What's up, beginner guitar junkies? Yeah, that's a. If you guys are on Facebook, check out beginner guitar junkies. Gene does. It's like a beginner. He started from nothing. It's kind of a cool idea, but he's learning the ropes too. So it's all good, you know. Hey, Gene, I might need your help in something. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I never thought to call you, bro. I might need your help. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, the how does the PV with the maple top sound through the internet setup? Through this, it sounds like shit, but through the Kemper, it sounds great. This I didn't know about this thing, man. I I knew it was an NOS, and it's got titanium on there. It's got this is actually built from leftover wood from the 1990 PV Wolfgangs. And this is an arch top, so it's like a signature, and they only made 400 of these. So it's a rare color. It's rare because it's using the original Wolfgang woods that Eddie approved of. It's a cool guitar. It plays unbelievable. I will say this. There's a huge difference between that and the EVH products. And I'm not going to say the EV products are bad, but when I play this compared to like EVH stuff, there is a big difference. It's kind of like the iconic EVH amps. I do like those, but the 6505 is the 5150. So like even I mean, so again, on the Fender thing, Fender owns EVH. Are they going to sue amp head companies for the same size head, the shape? I mean, that's going to there's going to be a lot of stuff used against Fender, and that's why I think Fender will lose that deal. It's like a piano or a keyboard. The suing will get out of control. It sound this one that this is the best. I have I've had probably 5 of the original Wolfgangs, maybe more. I've had the Wolfgang with the tailpiece from Japan, the black one. I've had the purple one. I've had my buddy at PV came on the road back in the day, and he gave me a hologram PV. It was gold metal flake, and it was a hologram kind of look, and it changed colors. I got rid of that. I I let a friend auction that off. His daughter was sick, so I gave it to him for an auction. It sounds really fucking good. And these are custom wound pickups by Peavy, supposedly. They actually sound better than the actual Van Halen pickups. These sound like if you cut the tone caps, that they sound it sounds great. Yeah, that's a custom shop. Yeah. That's basically a custom shop. So again, PV owns amp companies as well. I mean, so is EVH as a part of Fender gonna sue for similar looking heads, shaped heads? It goes back, it's crazy. Yeah, and again, so will PV get to sue EVH, which is on that's an interesting thing because then it would put an end to the line of EVH products because this is exactly the same. This is different because the bridge is down instead of up. You know what I mean? And they took the tuna off, and you can add that. So they made a couple changes, so it's not exactly the same. It feels it's hard to explain. Even the neck is made from the '90s wood. It's got the Shaler tuners on there. It came with a certificate. It's like a bird's eye maple. I don't know if you'll be able to see that in there. Like the neck is beautiful. You could see all the grain in there, even on the side, like over here and stuff like that. You can see the grain in there. But it's a beautiful neck, you know, and it's just made really well. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of weight. But again, like I say, is it a great guitar? Yeah. But the Ibanez for 300 bucks I got sounds just as good. you know, but that's more of a collector's thing. So like a lot of people they'll talk about guitars, but they don't talk about, I wish people were more honest. That's a collector's guitar. Honestly, it's just a collector's guitar. You can play it, but just don't fuck it up because it's not going to be worth anything. They only made 400 of those. So whereas, you know, the Ibanez was mass produced, but it plays and sounds just as good. All right, Michael. Yeah. Yeah, I got 2 Vandenbergs. I got a pink and a black one. No, Peavy owns that design, but they actually, when he left, they had to flip it, like the toggles and take the the tuners off and stuff. Same thing with the 5150. So they just call it 6505. You know what I mean? You just change the name. It's kind of like Fender. You know, this was the other thing I was thinking about with Fender. What if Guitar Center owes them millions upon millions of dollars? They bought Reverb, which was good. But if this lawsuit goes through, then that means they're gonna lose out of all that percentage of fees on all those strats. Why would they do that? Because they couldn't sell those. I think that's why it would be a licensing deal. But do I think it's going to go through? Absolutely not. I just think that they're doing the old talking in the news thing, like the Ozzy, the bad stuff, bite the head off the bat, and bad publicity is better than good publicity. People are going to start buying their guitars and buying certain things. Yeah, they charge Warmouth a license fee too. Yeah. Oh, really? They stole it from Bixby? Fuck, man. The Becker? Yeah. That's another thing. Who's doing the number guitars? Kiesel. You know what I mean? But same thing with Carvin. Carvin was originally called Kiesel, and there was something to do with pickups that were being made, so they had to switch it to Carvin because they were selling pickups under the Kiesel name, and they were making guitars, and they couldn't use the Kiesel name. So when they ended up changing it to Carvin, because Kiesel is their name. Jeff Kiesel is the one that owns it. But there was something with the ownership of the name under the pickups or something. I don't remember the whole story. So they switched to Carvin after the patent wore off. They were able to go to back to the original name Kiesel. I feel okay today, just really tired. I was sick on Friday, like my stomach, you know. I get once in a while I get like these just on the ground for a few days. Old man needs some Lasix. My battery's running low on that one. That one's up though, so I didn't charge this, but that is an older cable. I could actually let me see. Do I have an older cable? Possibly. We could charge it while we're here. Look at that. We can charge her up live. The live charge as we're said battery's running low. There we go. Now she's charging. It's great to have everything in here. I just don't know how to use it. Yeah, carving amps were really nice too. That the number one PV. No, I didn't see that. It auctioned at 400 grand. The Carvin V3, yeah. An oak toilet seat. You pulled the guitar out of an oak toilet seat. Dude, I see guitars built out of newspapers. I see them built out of Legos. There's a guy that builds guitars out of all kinds of shit, and they sound fucking great. That's why, by the way, I think Bad Brad did a live stream the other night, and I tried to comment and it wouldn't let me. So I think he banned me. I was like, bro, it's the fucking Indian, not the arrow. Because you need the Indian to create the arrow. You need the Indian to be able to pull the bow. It's all about the Indian. I've never met a good guy that's never played guitar take a 59 into like a blackface amp and sound amazing. Why? Because he's a beginner. It's gonna sound like shit. But I've heard great guitar players take shitty equipment and sound fucking great. So what's that tell you? Those shillers are full of shit. Oh, you did? Thanks, Jerry. I'm an interwebs troll. EVH proven number one. It said list on reverb is number one PV. Yeah, I don't listen. I I I I don't know, man. It's cool that Eddie owns something, or I saw Robert Baker doing the whole thing with the Jakey Lee's original Charvel. Honestly, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I really could care less who owned what. It only benefits me on how good I'm able to play through it. Or, you know what I mean? Same thing like this. It's just a cool fucking guitar. I have money. It's not gonna hurt me financially, so I'm able to afford something like that. That's why I say honestly, this guitar right here plays just as good. This guitar over here, that Ibanez, plays just as good. Let's see. This guitar right here. Let's take a look. Indonesia. String through. Fucking heavy as hell. I mean, sure, this is a maple neck. It's got a little bird's eye in there. You can see it. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's got some DiMarzios in there, quantum pickups, I believe. This thing plays great too. I paid $300 for it. Great guitar. Yeah, I like a little bit weight on my guitars. You played a you played a Carbon Legacy stack in a music store? Jesus. I bet that was fucking insanely thick sounding. Like we'd buy an American Strat from a music store and use it on a gig that night. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is, you know, Bad Brad was shilling so hard for fucking Fender. I couldn't. I'm like, dude, just offering them the fucking Godzilla guitar with the Godzilla pedal. It's ridiculous the amount of shilling that he was doing. I was like, I can't. I just can't watch him no more. Like, I'll tune in or watch a piece of it, but I was like, and he was like, they need to do a Beck guitar. They need to do this guitar. They're irrelevant. What Fender should have did is bought fucking Marshall amplification and did the Hendrix fucking plexi with the fucking Hendrix fucking Strat and sold it as a package. That would have been smart. Then you could have offered the amp, the Marshall amp with the fucking or the Marshall. You would have owned Marshall and Fender amps. What the fuck were you thinking not to buy that? That's insane. Not that one Marshall. You could have fucking redid Eddie Van Halen's Plex signature plexis. Companies are fucking idiotic. The Charvel, yeah, that's heavy too. I was like, yeah, that's it's heavy. It's got some weight to it. Your local mom and pop had a nice condition Super Beetle. You'd buy it for the looks only. Yeah, certain things that I'll buy, and I'll tell you, am I gonna play this a lot? No. It probably sit on the wall or go in a case. Just because there's only 400 of them. So I'll keep it. I'll play it once in a while, make sure it's okay. But you know what I mean? Because if I bump something, I'm gonna be upset. If it falls off the wall, I'll be upset. Where the Charvel, the Ibanez, these guitars here, like the Jackson, who gives a shit? They're nice guitars, but I'm not gonna get mad if they fall. Custom amps, yeah. What was the other one too? The Jens Bens. Remember the Jens Bens? What was that? Cross something head. Those were interesting amps too. The Jens Bens. Because at one time Lynch, all he used was Jens Benz cabs. No, they're the Shaler pickups, humbuckers. No, they got Shaler tuners, but the pickups in that are custom wound from PV. The Super Beetle, plush amps. Really, 2-inch upholstery. Yeah, two DSL stacks. That's crazy, man. It's cool to have that stuff, and I have two cabs in here, but I only have them in here because I would take them if I was going to use them. More than likely I'd run direct. What's that on the? What did you say? Let me see. What's the knobs on the PV? They're titanium metal, but I don't like them. They got like a weird. They got not. It's like got a rubber ring, and then it's got like a They got numbers on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. I don't know if you can see the numbers. It's like a rubber ring and then numbers on the bottom. They're I don't know. They're metal, but they match all the blue on the Floyd is titanium. And I believe that's what Joe did to the Charvel. He put gold titanium stuff on there. No, the knobs are in stock. I got all the stock pieces in the case. So I have so this has like blue titanium locking screws. There's blue titanium on the Floyd, and it's a go gato not cat go to. It's a go to Floyd. So it's got like I guess I could put it up closer. I'm trying to see if I could see, but you can see the blue, you know, on there. But all the original pieces are all the screws, all the blocks are all in they're in like 3 4 separate bags inside the case. Yeah, it's cool looking. I don't know why somebody had From what my buddy Aaron told me, somebody returned it after they did some work to it, and that was in the case. The knobs are in there and everything. Yeah. Just get the top mount Floyd so you can't bend on it. It's like the old original ones. I have to figure out that restream too. That pissed me off. I did it because you could do a test run with the restream. And the first one I had up here, it had the logo on the restream. I have to ask them what happened because it sounded great. I did the video and I did it unlisted and then put it and I listened to it. It was like awesome sounding. Yeah, you should, Deer Creek, because a lot of people would ask you questions about your engineering and stuff. You know, tones and sounds. You do line six helix. You've done engineer work for Head East. I mean, dude, why I would live stream. I'd watch it. I'd pick your brain for some fucking tips on engineering. I got pretty good at it, but I had to hang out with some famous people to figure it out. Dude, I think everybody should do some live streams. You know, and it shows the character of the person. You see, the trolls don't come on here. The trolls will not come on here. Why? They'll get pummeled and hammered. Because you can retake your videos all you want. You can do that, and you can make videos day after day. You can re-edit them and re-edit them so that you look like you're fucking highly intelligent, right? Like the Zacks. But in reality, you're just a dumb fuck because you're too stupid to know that you're going to end up in trouble by doing what you do, and you're really not that good at it. And you don't have nothing else to add to society but make videos of somebody else. You're a dumb fuck. Plain and simple. And I know for a fact that the person told him, yeah, dude, he actually played with this. Scott from Great White knew him. This guy saw it firsthand. He's the real deal. I played with him. So that's why he doesn't talk about who I am anymore because he got told. Now all he's got is, oh, he lies about it. Now he's bringing up the NDAs again. You did the test videos and some others. The captures of the EVH. Yeah, what's your opinion on that, Deer Creek? I For me, the captures aren't. The captures are a- after it was produced. Again, if you listen to Jamie's crying, the room mic, Van Halen doesn't sound like that. Does not sound like what Eddie's sound was on the record, but that's what it sounded like in the studio. A lot of engineering, these producers are the guys behind the sound. 100%. That's why I think Deer Creek should go live. I think I think he has a lot to offer with the engineering tricks, and when you're mixing for bands like Head East and stuff and producing those kind of guys, you know what the fuck you're doing. And he's old school. He knows all the fucking tips and the tricks. He's seen it all. I agree with Deer Creek. The only patch that I actually like out of anything I've ever done was the Diesel, and I'll tell you who it was done by. It says Stev Crunch One, so I don't even know who this fucking guy is. But that patch I like a lot. I like it as it's as good as my profiled heads. Like I would probably I've only done the patch with his patch. I had to tinker with it, but same thing. It wasn't just a straight in patch. You have to like what Deer Creek saying, you have to create your own patches. Like I took his head sound and I altered it and I added EQs and the loops and this and that and the delays the way I like them. And then you put it in there and do stuff like that and it's good. And that's a weird thing because Deer Creek knows we all have a sound in our head that we can't achieve because we don't play like that individual and we're always on the tone chase. We're our own worst enemy. You have to eventually just find your own sound and be happy with it because and amp companies understand this, guitar companies understand this. Dude, buy this guitar, it's a Jackson, you'll sound just like Randy Rhodes. Okay. But it's not gonna happen. Yeah, yeah. So I think that would benefit people, Deer Creek. I think, between the mixing and you creating patches on the Helix, it would help a lot of people. Yeah, I get sounds and voices in my head. Yeah. I've never, to be honest, I learned to be happy with what I create as far as sound. I then years go by, like I go back and listen to the old expose shit, and I'm going, what the fuck was I thinking? At that moment in time, it sounded great. Labels were happy. I was happy. You go back and you go, Jesus, that was horrid, you know? And it's real easy for people to critique you. Hey, what's up, MT? And go, oh man, he's, you know what I mean? Oh, he's great. He could take a camera phone and a fucking and plug right into an amp and sound great. But you don't know how many times the guy's done a fucking video. Like, was he there for 5 hours to do a 10-minute take? Like everybody's fucking doesn't understand that. What's up, Michael? You want my hat? I think it lights up it like glows and moves different colors in the light. On the IK media. You'll still, I mean, it's okay to take someone's settings, but you're gonna have to tinker with them because, like, again, are you listening to Cool Breeze? Are you listening to those settings live, like in the room? Like, are you listening to it on their Tone X and you hear it live? And how much do you have to alter the patch for you to like it? See that those are good questions because like I can get I've done the Halen sound through here. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. I gotta figure out how to do the live stream, the live stream companies. Like I got Restream right now. So they offered it to me for free. I did something wrong in there and it froze the screen. And I so like I panicked because I saw the time and I'm like, mother. So I just went on to the way I regularly did that. Yeah, that's a great point too. Derek Creek's got a great point. The way you play is how you need to alter your sound to sound like somebody. Like a lot of it is how you play. Like I can imitate George Lynch and Eddie Van Halen. I can put a phaser on there and get close, but it's not his settings. I don't like when I did the chat settings and built that EV8 patch. Hey, what's up, Rogers? What's up? So I didn't like the sound of it. It didn't sound good to me. So like I was like, I don't that's horrible sounding to me. Rex in the house. Yeah, the gain and the volume. And again, Cool Breeze. I was at a Van Halen show long time ago. He was playing through a 112 Mesa Boogie combo between behind all those stacks and was pulled. It was around the stacks, and I was on the side, and his tech went like this to me. I was like, "What the fuck?" It was the one with the 5 band EQ. He was playing that old Mesa Boogie combo 112. He had everything fucking dimed on it, and he had that fucker cranked, and it was pointed backwards with a mic there. So it wasn't hitting the amps, it was going back behind everything. But I'll tell you, that little 112 combo was fucking loud. Woof. And I was kind of shocked. Like I didn't know. That's when like it dawned on me. Everything that you see and think isn't what it actually is. And then once I started getting in the studios and all that too, my whole idea of sound change. That's why Deer Creek is like really good at what he does because he's done that. And when you get into a studio and you watch like engineers, you know, it's a whole different world. It's a whole other art form. That's why I said, like to Deer Creek, you should really do production videos because I watch these fucking social media guys on here with the fucking mixing and shit. They're horrible. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, you should really do that, man. Spirit of Radio by Rush. I don't know that one. And my guitar is I don't have restream, so the guitar sounds squashed. So it's not going to sound good because I had restream earlier and it was fine. It's not going to sound good. It's going to sound crushed, squashed. But I have restream. In the next week or two, I'll be up and running back where I can have like live sound on the live streams, and it'll be fine. I just got to get used to the restream thing because restream you have to connect to your channel. You have to take the pop ads off, you have to allow it to get into your phone and your accounts and blah blah blah, and then it pops up. What happened is it was reversed, and I couldn't remember how to unreverse it. Yeah, you got that's another part. That's a great point, not out. You everything you do in life, so like everything you do with the tone chasing, the theory chasing, the ideas, you know. And I tell everybody it's great to learn the Eric Johnson lick. It is, but he's already done it. Bonamassa has done it. Andy Woods is doing it. I mean, you gotta come up. Like I just watched. I think what's his name did. I don't know what it's called. There must be a specific channel, but it's a master class, and I watched who's the guy that plays with tea bags all the time? I forget his name. He's a decent player. But Jack Rouge was there. And to be honest, it's not a master class for me because he sounds like every fucking other guitar player I've ever seen. I don't I don't so like I don't want to see guys just going. I don't want to see like it's okay to play like that, but at some point you're gonna have to come up with your own licks and your own ideas to make you stand out. You know what I mean? A V? Who, me? I got plenty of flying V's, bro. They're in storage. I got old Gibson V's. I've had I've had Schecter 7-string V's with the Carina wood. I got Matthias Jabs' one Explorer that's put away. I have I have a Michael Schenker V from him signed. I have a bunch of guitars in my warehouse. But those are collectible items that I don't like to take out and touch and mess around with. But I do have some old V's in there. A matter of fact, I think I was just showing somebody. It's on Shred Factory. I'm selling a 1960 Gold Top Deluxe. It's in mint condition. Yeah, it's hard to come up with new stuff, but like even me, you you didn't think that like I do that string skipping that you've never seen before. So it's possible. So if you're doing, I don't know, it is possible to create your own licks. It is. It really is. So like if you're doing like even stupid stuff like I do that alone is different than you've ever seen. But like so you can put time. You just have to. That's a hard one because you have to kind of separate and distance yourself mentally and start trying to figure out, well, all right, tapping has been done. The eight fingers tapping has been done. Well, what's left? They got some string skipping tapping, and they do the arpeggio with the finger slide tapping. So what can be done? I play scales harmonically. You can do that. You just got to figure out. You got to take existing ideas and create them. Yeah, yeah. It's like Devo. Yeah. So like I took a lot of Eddie Van Halen stuff. So like that thing is from somebody get me a doctor, but I've seen it done a million times. But then I was like, well, what if I slide while I'm doing, and then you're like, oh shit, that's possible. So now what if you start, like how they pick the note like this, with the finger, with the harmonic, like that. Well, what if you were so good at that that you could do your arpeggios like that, like the I mean, there's stuff out there that's creatable. There is. There really is. You could slap like a bass on guitar. Michael Lee Firkins is really great at that. I mean, there's stuff that's doable that you can actually create. It's just a hard thing to put yourself in a mindset to actually sit there. I mean, look at Eddie Van Halen. All the patents he's come up with. He did Eruption. Then he did Little Guitars. Then he did Spanish Fly. I mean, then he did Cradle Will Rock. He was always, I mean, a lot of people work, so they don't have the time to put into that. But if you really wanted to and put your time into that and you were that guy, you can create stuff. I mean, I'm not creating this stuff now. This is stuff I created while I was at GIT. You're talking 1983, 84. Yeah, yeah. You just haven't seen it yet. So, there's even like a whole tone, like creating a whole tone arpeggio. I've never seen that done. So you start doing like stuff like, but I've seen whole tone scales. But I was like, well, if I'm taking arpeggios, so what if I mix whole tone and diminished and I create arpeggios out of that? There's stuff like that. I mean, there's stuff that you can throw in there. I mean, doing like scale kind of double stoppy stuff together. There's all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, so what if you start snapping and popping, but you're some of that like those kind of double stops like that, but you start adding the snapping and pop. There's all kinds of stuff you can try to do in there. Absolutely. It's hard. It is. It's I'm not gonna say it's easy, but you got to figure out what you're setting to do. Like taking a dime bag lick and then tapping it. I mean, who's thinking about taking dime bag licks and tapping it? Yeah, it brings back memories. I get to get up. Oh yeah, not in a weird way. Yeah, tomorrow's Monday. Are you good thing? Social Security for me is on Wednesday. 420 bum gym. Oh yeah, your your granddad left all that. That's awesome. Yeah, Beat It is a great solo. Now I watched Jennifer Batten do her version of the Beat It solo, and I was like, that sucks. It's like I hate to say it, but that fucking sucked. Why would you change a perfect fucking solo that Eddie Van Halen created? That's like a solo of a master class of all time, putting up the tapping and whammy bar and run. George Lynch, yeah, I'm friends with George. You're glad you know what I showed. Yeah, you could do different tunings too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, you could start looking at um some jazz guitar players. You could start looking at some of the classical guitar players and some of the technique. I mean, that's what Ingve did. Itzhak Perlman. I mean, Richie Blackmore. He copied all that. Uli John Roth. I remember Catch a Train from the Scorpions, and he was doing the fours. Ingve claimed the fame to that. Fuck you, didn't do that, boy. She has a video out where she did her rendition. I think it's in her apartment or house. I don't know where she lives. And I was watching it the other day and I was like, oof, no. But she did talk about some GIT licks. And that was the one I showed was she was talking about where you're taking she's taking the fours like that. So it was interesting that she was talking about that, and she was talking about one of the instructors that I had too. And I was like, you stupid. Why would you say why would you do it the way he wasn't teaching it? Because the way he taught it was a little different. Because she didn't explain it the way he did. He was taking about taking the fours and the fives, but playing it chordal, like more like chords, like that. But like all that stuff was taught at GIT, so it's like no big deal. Ingua Maltine. Oh, you saw that? Yeah, it was like, so she gave out, that's where I learned it too. Yeah, George did that thing with Doug Pinnick from King's X. That was actually pretty good. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Jennifer Batten, like what is she doing? It was like a fad. You did the fad thing with Michael Jackson, and then what did you do after that? No more gigs. You're not playing for Lady Gaga and this person. No one's calling him. Yeah, she did the outdoors thing. There's a lot of the girl guitar players doing that outdoor thing. I don't remember uh Fisher and all those kind of girls. What's his name? That blues guy too, the black dude, Eric Gales. He's doing a lot of those blues outdoors blues festivals. But like the blues festival here is horrible. The one in Fort Lauderdale is horrible. They have it down by the riverfront. There's maybe 300 people there. Yeah, she got lucky with Michael. That was it. No, most people don't play through tube amps anymore. That's the funny thing. The shilling is just done by guys trying to sell you on an idea. The tube amps are better. On a recording, most of these guys, Metallica uses Fractal. John Mayer's using Fractal. This guy's using Kemper. Steve Vai's using Fractal. Neil Shun's using Fractal. They're all using these modelers. They may incorporate some pedals into it, maybe even a tube amp, but most of them are using all these. It's either Fractal or Kemper. Those are the two biggest ones out there. There are some guys using the Helix as well, but the Kemper and the Fractal are probably the two biggest ones. And I don't know what the payout difference between Helix from Line 6 to a Fractal payout. At one time, I heard that Fractal wasn't paying their artists because the product was so good they had to buy it. I don't believe that shit. Steve Stevens was using Fractal back then. But I mean, these are all the guys that came from Rack Gear. Yeah, Metallica, yeah. So like a lot of these guys came from the rack gear syndrome. Like I was all rack gear, so it was natural for me to use Kemper and Fractal. And I have the old Helix, but it's in a Go Play Live. I got one up there. I've got a Moore GE something 1000, I think it is. I got a Boss, and they're all in the closet. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's a weird thing. A lot of the metal guys use Kemper, like the European metal guys. Over here, a lot of the guys are using Fractal. I don't know why it's like a divide like that. And it seems like there's a lot more different genre players using Fractal as compared to the Kemper. But I think more people are actually using Kemper now than they were before. But the Helix goes both ways for everybody across. Helix is more like a fractal to me. Like it's used by a greater variety of players. So I would say Kemper's actually the third. I think Fractal and Helix are probably used more here in the United States or by different genres where the Kemper is a lot. There are some producers, um I forget some of the names like um what's his name, Max, that they make you play through some of the stuff. Boogie for metal. Yeah, I don't know a lot of people using Boogie anymore. The problem what people don't understand is it's a vacuum sealed tube, so they're pressurized. So when I did gigs up in, like, say, Las Vegas in the higher altitudes and say Florida compared to Switzerland, the tubes were never consistent in sound. And then the other part of that is like a battery. every time you plug it in and you use it, it diminishes in life. Yeah, the pod HD is great. Max Norman will make you use Kemper in his studio. Yeah, I see a lot of Helix in the churches. Like I used to get called a lot of times for churches for like setting up, like, and it was a weird thing because the way that the churches would set up with the isolated drums, they would ask instead of monitors because it would be getting a lot of feedback because of the way the stages were set up. Churches weren't really set up for bands like some of the older ones, so they never remodeled them. So I would suggest like um having speakers on the sides just in front of the stage angled crossways as monitors coming back so that everyone could hear them, and as well as like in-ear monitors. But it depends on what was behind them. Like now if the back was all glass, you didn't want to do that because it would bounce. Yeah, those are like Blackberry Smoke, and some of those bands are smaller. They're not doing like arena shows and stuff, like, and some of these big bands are like John Mayer's using Fractal, Steve Vai using Fractal. And then you look at, some of the, like Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift's guitar player. Those are all tracks. Yeah. I mean, some of them use amps, but like I said, it's a hard thing to know because again, Eddie had all those 5150s, and what was he playing through? A fucking 112 Mesa Boogie with the 5 band EQ all dimed out, and it was behind his amps, and his tech was. Now what's Eddie gonna do? Sue me? He's passed away. The stadium I'm interested in. I told Deer Creek, I will buy a stadium after they work all the bugs out. I just don't see spending that kind of money and then having to do all these updates. I think I think where Helix goes wrong is they have a lot of issues with it and they release it too early. They should have been working those bugs out before it hit. Yeah, I like the XT Live. The 500 is really good. The HD 500 for Line 6. I used both of those for a long time. And there are some places that I would play where you weren't allowed to bring amps. No amps allowed. None. You had to play through pedal boards, and they would run all your sound direct. Because they wanted the stages to be clean, and that was the look that they were going for. And we were playing kind of metally stuff. But I'll tell you what, it was way more. You have to get used to it, but you could communicate on stage. Like if drummers would, I know it's sacrilegious to use an electronic kit, but let me tell you, you can control stage volume. And if you can control stage volume, your singer isn't fucking hurting his voice because you're so cranked up that he's having to push hard to hear himself because they can't get the monitors loud enough without him feeding back because the sound engineer is not really a sound engineer and doesn't know what a PV feedback ferret is. So he's over there, yeah, and he can, and you're ruining voices on stage when it's really quiet. You can sing and control everything better, and you can communicate better. You actually have better shows. Now, what you're hearing on stage is not what the crowd's hearing. They're hearing a full fucking powerhouse of a band, and you use the monitors. I rather use that. What's up, Jam Pro Sound? Boise. In the house, Boise. My Boise. Looking into the reactive load box. Yeah. The beta testers now for just about, yeah. Yeah, yeah. None in the chat will be filling stadiums, you know. But it's also better for your family. Like my wife is over there sleeping with my kid, and because I can control the volume without cranking that, now, you know what I mean? And then here's the other problem. When you go out live, tubes can power tubes can go bad, snap of the dime. You can get some a lot of stuff that reacts to the tubes and creates a lot of buzzing and noise, like lighting or a microwave on a certain line. There's all kinds of stuff with the Kempers and fractals. You don't get that. You can control sound a lot better. And the thing is, once you get used to not having that air push, and when you're playing big shows, you don't have the air push anyway. Even on some of the bigger stages in these clubs, your amp's too far back, and they're not going to let you crank it. They're not going to let you crank that. Sound is done by real engineers. Kick drum first, poof, poof, poof. Then the bass, boom, boom. That bass is only as loud as that kick drum. And then you bring your guitars up level with that, and then the vocalist in front of that, and the backup vocals just in between those two. That's how sound is actually done with a professional engineer. And Deer Creek can attest to this. The kick drum, a lot of people don't even tune their fucking drums. You should be tuning drums. They have frequencies. A lot of people don't tune the drums to their own fucking singer. That's because they're inexperienced. Once you learn about sound properly, you will sound way better than just some cover band going out there. Oh, you still have the HD 500? Yeah, it's great. You still the pod too? Yeah, man. Angus? Yeah. Oh, the rat and then a harmonizer? Yeah. See, now that's you bring up a great point because here's the other thing. You got these big giant pedal boards. Let's say your power supply goes bad. What are you going to use to power those fucking things? You better bring two or three power supplies. What if you got a big giant pedal board and one of your cables goes bad? Do you know how long you're going to take to go through every fucking cable to test it to see where the bad one is? It's getting that short. Or do you have a Kemper and a backup Kemper or a Helix and a backup Helix? It's much quicker, more efficient, and it's easier to do. Plus, I can profile so many different heads in this. I have my one down here that has my TSL heads. It's got my Hughes and Kettner heads. They're exact copies of the amp heads I use. It's got my 5150 in there. The Boss, yeah. Yeah. So like what so like when you guys listen to those tracks, I used a pitch delay, an octave up, and I ran it at I think around 17% if I remember. And certain things that I would put on when I would record. There's just like little sound tricks that I learned from like Max Norman and stuff and what he was doing. And I'll do that live because it sounds fucking great. It's almost like the, Eventide. When Lynch played in Florida recently, was the stage volume blended in with the. No, dude, the last time he played. So here's the problem with George. I've been friends with him a long time. He borrows my stuff when he comes into town, some of my heads, some of my cabs as well. I don't think he hears as well anymore. The last time Toad came out, and he was very upset because he wanted so much delay on his guitar sound, and he kept telling him to turn up. Toad was getting upset. And when I went into the back of the club, his volume on his monitors was overpowering the PA because he was having, and George does not do sound checks anymore. So George has a hard time. It's definitely not quiet on stage. The Boss can't Katana 100-watt head is a great example. That's basically a Kemper or a Helix in amp form with the speakers. Now, that's not to say I can't use the Kemper with tube amp. I have a tube power amp right here, VHT in the rack. So if I want to play through cabs, I can still play through cabs and get the air push and still run direct. But basically, I to crank those, your club, a sound engineer in a club is not going to let you crank up past the drums because then he has no control of the band sound. The 62 Princeton tone junkie deal. No, they didn't blend it good because the fucking sound guy that was there sucked. He wasn't a real sound guy. His, I don't want to say his name, but he was horrible. Because that's one less person that the club pays for and George doesn't have to. It becomes a money thing. So he's probably the band's probably making 4 or 5K for a 500, 600 seater, which ain't a lot. But when you do, but George is probably, he's got Terry, he's got Brett. What are those guys going to get? You know what I mean? And lately he's been using the old Lynch Mob drummer. So I mean, and and Skylar is not from AON, isn't playing drums, so he's got a bunch of people, including his guitar tech, that he's got to pay. Plus, Eric was bringing like Toad to do the monitors and stuff. There's a lot. So what's George probably bringing home? 700, 600 for the show, but then he does 4 or 5 shows a week, so it's 3 grand in his pocket, and he goes out for 6 months. 6 times 4 is 24 weeks times 3 grand is a lot of fucking money. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Sound changes when the room fills. Yeah, I agree. And when you do your sound check and you think you sound fucking great and then the room fills up, even when people are allowed to smoke or you're running fog machines, that fog it creates density in the air. So that will affect your sound too. Believe it or not. Fog machines will affect your sound. Not big, but enough to block some of the highs. And that's the other thing. Depends if they got like aluminum roofs with the metal steel rafters and it's like that old hangar look. Do they have glass on the front? Is it a square building where the line array pointed at? Do they have wood floors? Do they have tile floors? Are there steps where sound hits and then goes up? I mean, there's all kinds of factors. Yeah, yeah. Most of them are just people that work there. Yeah, Tonex is a great product. I have Tonex. It's great for in here. But like I've played through all of them and stuff. I've lent some of the products out to friends for them to try it too. You could, but then you create a problem on stage with the singers and the bass players. And then you start fighting over volume sounds, and then that becomes an issue. And that also depends on what the like the drummer. What kind of monitor system does he got? Does he get an 18 sub and a fucking top right there where it's fucking just big sounding? Well, then you can fucking crank the bass and you know what I mean? It just depends on the setup. Have you had him turn you off? That's fucking funny. Like even when I played like stadiums or arenas, I was at a pretty good volume, but it would you know, that volume would affect like monitor volume. Like I couldn't hear my own monitors. So like I would have to like I always still told the bass player, listen, he's fucking loud. Turn as loud as his kick. I mean, his kick is coming through that the fucking he might have two 18s, one 18 on each side to get that kick sound. And then he's got fucking 4 15 tops that are with the snare coming through because he wants to feel it. You know, it depends on the drummer. You know, is he hard hitting? Does his adrenaline take over and he starts hitting harder than the sound check? I mean, there's all kinds of factors. That was the one thing that used to piss me off, the adrenaline thing. You're playing sound checking. I used to tell him, hit that fucking thing as hard as you can because when you start playing, you have a tendency to start hitting harder. Yeah, but the two the you but you're yeah, but they're you have to understand vacuum tubes used for power or something that airplanes were using tubes, but they also had a lot of capacitors and stuff like that. So you're not cranking the volume up to heat a tube up. Planes didn't do that. Absolutely not. Planes with the tubes and what they used them for and electronics was a totally different thing. That's like cranking your TV, your old tube TV up on fucking 10 and leaving it there for an hour and a half. Your neighbors will fucking bitch and your TV will blow out. That's not how that works. Sorry, bro. No offense, but that's not how it works. That's also different areas, you know, the power sources. When you go to over like Japan and it's 220 instead of 120, you know, then you're talking about fuses and capacitors and stuff. You know, all that's different. That's why these are consistent in sound. Tubes aren't. And every day that you use a tube, the life of that tube dies every time that you heat it up. It's glass. Glass can take X amount of times of heating up, or shit like this lasts a lot longer. I don't have to change my tubes. When I was on tour, I would change my tubes every 3 months. Sometimes I would have to change them more than that, depending on how many shows we would play per month. You know, if you were doing 3 shows a week, I probably change my tubes every 2 months, even if they weren't bad. I just change them, put fresh tubes in there, and bias it. And when I was on tour, I had stuff that you know I didn't use stuff like that. You know, I had rack gear with tubes in it, so I had 2 or 3 power amps. I would use Mesa Boogie power amps, you know, the 5050s, because I was endorsed by Mesa Boogie and Digitech back then. But tubes, and you're talking in 75, 78. I didn't tour until the 80s, bro. But yeah, I mean, and some of the tubes you can't even get no more, like the Russian Sovtex. You can't get Sovtex because of the war with Russia. You can't even buy tubes, Russian tubes. Yeah, man, absolutely. So there's like another problem with the tube thing. You know, do you settle for like I like Ruby? ruby red tubes. You can get those, but you got to bring a lot of them, especially on the tour. They would mail them to you. Well, it depends how much how it depended on you and how you heated the tube up. I mean, were you cranking everything so the tube was at maximum, like a maximum power? It also depended on your transformers, like how it harnessed the energy. Transformers have a big fucking role in tube life and the way that the sound comes out. Like even when I played with Marshall amps and the Boogie amps and stuff, I always changed them out to Weber transformers because I thought they had shitty transformers in every amp that was made here. That was my opinion. Yeah, JJs are okay. I like JJs. Australia is 240 volts. Yeah. Oh, really? You have to do step down power? Oh, yeah. Steppenwolf was the first to do that. Yeah, and there was a lot of guys that I saw that, they would have amps up front. Like again, Joe Walsh had a fucking canvas tarp over his mic, over the whole amp, the speaker covered up. Neil Schon used to lay his cabinets flat and they would be pointed up at the ceiling and they would have mics dropped over it. I mean, some of these guys were doing kind of crazy stuff with that. Then they came up with the ISO boxes under the stage. Some of them had an ISO box on top of the stage where they would drop the mics in there, crank the fucking thing to get that sound. But think about it. I mean, some of those bands were just fucking loud. They didn't sound good. You know what I mean? You have to wear fucking earplugs to get good sound to hear what the fuck they were playing. There were some of the bands were just overly loud. I mean, the PA systems weren't that great then. The amps were great, but the PAs couldn't handle the amps back in the 60s and early 70s. The Amtech tubes. Oh, you love the PV? Yeah, it's a cool guitar. Yeah, Neil Schon has the amps under the stage now. I mean, he's using Fractal too. But I do know he messed with the Helix. I know he was going between the Helix and the Fractal. The DC, yeah, the old Crown amps. Yeah. I think what's his name was using that. Frank Cabali. So like a Frank Cabali, he's all solid state. Always was, always will be. He swears by solid state. And I mean, Doc and George Lynch did what Tooth and Nail was all solid state. Pantera solid state amps at one point. The Woodstock booth. Yeah, I remember that. Joe Jett knows light power cords running parallel with audios, lots of feedback, lights freezing. Yeah. Yeah, you just have to figure. I mean, it depends on your setup. It depends on the drummer setup. It depends on your band setup. I mean, it's good to talk about this because it may help somebody, but in reality, it just depends on the band you're playing with and how loud you're playing and where you're playing. Like you might set up exactly the same one night and then play a different arena or a different club the next night, and it's not set up the same. And you might have to alter your sound. You might have to take some more reverb off. You might have to add some presence. I mean, it just depends. Not there's no safe bet that you could go night after night with the same exact sound and the same exact setup. Always somewhere. That's why you did sound checks. Yeah, absolutely. 420. It's in the hands and the ears, you know. And a lot of times when the show started, like he was saying, it changed sound, and you see guys that did the sound check, and they're like they can't hear now because of the crowd yelling back at them. Turn my fucking I can't hear. The rack mount chameleon. I like that. What's his name used that, didn't he? Gary Ho. Gary Hoey. I think he used the chameleon a little bit. The Rocktron chameleon. Was it Rocktron? Yeah, that's why I don't do backline like that. That's why I was able to take the Digitech 1101 and I could rent a power amp and a conditioner, and I could travel with Japan with that in a backpack, and and I would be fine because I would have all my sound in there, and then I would just plug it and go direct into whatever cab or whatever with the power. The pedal thing and all that, I never did that. Even though I love pedals and heads, it just wasn't feasible because I've tried it. It was too inconsistent. And that's why bands like Metallica and stuff, but again, it depends on your situation. I was touring all over the world, different power zones. Like there was all kinds of issues, altitude, this, that. Even the singers had problems in the different altitudes. Their eyes would get really dry and it would affect their throats. It was crazy, man. But like if you're just like gigging in, say, Nashville, you get used to the weather there. So your vocals and your eyes and your sinuses all start to how to work that. But then if you were traveling and you were going up into, say, Alaska, or into New York and back down to Florida, there's different humidities and stuff. Humidity is the worst thing that'll kill anything before even altitude. Humidity and salt in the air. It teabags anyway. The PV400. Yeah. And I mean, some of the older amps are still fucking great. Like I remember what was the PV Butcher and some of those. There's all kinds of great. The Johnson Millennium, like I was telling this Kayla Kent girl, she uses one of those. I've had one. The Millennium 150. That's a great fucking solid state amp, and it's got some preamp tubes built in there. It's like a hybrid. He was a Rocktron dealer. Yeah, and I understand that's and again, it depends on your situation. If you like the 70s music, but where are you gonna play that now? Unless you're like, you come to Florida, you ain't playing 70s music here. They don't you're not gonna get booked. I mean, if that's the sound you like and you play it and you live here, you're gonna be playing it in your bedroom or at a garage band or a jam night. Oh, the J station? I like that amp, man. And I grew up on 70s too. I love Pat Travers and Uriah Heep and Blue Oyster Cult, but they don't want you to play that around here. It's done because older people don't drink as much because they got older, so they're more reserved. Young people are stupid with their money, and they're the ones spending all the money in the bars. Again, then that's a whole nother topic, is the business aspect of it. They want to draw the kids because they're stupid with their money and they're just gonna fucking blow it. You know what I mean? but that's the other part of it, where the guy from the 70s is going to go into Guitar Center, buy a Plexi and a fucking Les Paul or a fucking Fender Strat and spend 10 grand. Young kids aren't going to do that. They don't give a shit about that. They want the fucking, you know, they want the fast play. They want the fucking katana that does all the sounds, and then they want something else. You know, that's a whole nother topic though. But like Gary Richrath and REO Speedwagon and Rosington Collin bands, all those 70s bands, and even coming up through the 80s. There I mean, JCM 800 was the head that everybody wanted too, you know. But they bashed that head against the Plexi. The Plexi's the Marshall. And then now everything bashed against the JVM, and the JCM 800 is the holy grail. I mean, it gets to be stupid, you know. Again, it's whatever that user has to, like. If you're playing, you have to have a realistic budget based on your income, based on what you're doing. Like, is it for a hobby? Is it your job to play clubs? Or, like, we just had a guy fall off a stage, I heard, and they did a GoFundMe for 35 grand, and I'm against that. And you're gonna be like, why? Because he should have fucking insurance, number one, and he shouldn't have to do GoFundMe. Which, if he's doing GoFundMe, I know that he's not paying his fucking taxes. And then what happens? He's got no social security. He's gonna live in a fucking state facility, right? Sitting in a shit diaper. And, and again, that's a whole nother subject. Yeah, I like the Johnson stuff too. Where are they booking 70s bands? They ain't booking them in Florida. They have some 70 bands that come through here, like Air Supply. But again, George Lynch is playing fucking bars and clubs. Here's one of the guys from fucking arenas with Dokken and Lynch Mob. Now he's playing bars. Yeah, if you could have a katana back in 78, do you know, if I had a Kemper in 1978, I would have been the biggest hired fucking gun around. They'd be like, how's he getting that sound? He's got the reverbs and delays, and holy fuck. Dude, if you had a katana back in 78, you'd be fucking playing for Kiss and Frankie Valli at the same time. In the villages? What do you mean in the villages? In Florida? You mean PGA villages? Like what villages? I never heard villages. You mean in like New York? Greenwich Village? Villages are senior retirement places? I'm lost. Somebody's gonna explain this. No, covered bands aren't making more than George. Absolutely not. Not even. He's making. The problem is George is probably making 4 or 5 grand a show, doing 4 or 5 shows a week. When those cover bands aren't pulling that, because they're gonna have to ring the register, and if they're playing 4 or 5 nights a week in the same area, people will pick where they're gonna go see that band, because then it's not a thing of Now they get to pick and choose where they see them, so it's not a supply and demand where they play once every 3 months and then bring 500 people. Now, if you're talking like my uncle's in an assisted living place, they pay that person $400 as a single. She does like a 2 hour show. But even the wedding band can make up to 10 grand. But I mean, you're not going to play every weekend. If you're talking like PGA villages and stuff up there, I mean, you're not going to get to play in that same location week after week after week after week, 3 nights and 4 nights a week. Like I play at the casinos, the Hard Rock in here. They'd pay me $2,500 a night, but they would book me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah, the villages, like PGA, like Port St. Lucie. What's up, pawn shop? Yeah, store bar pool. Yeah, but again, those bands aren't going to play there every single night. This even the city gigs are $2,500 if you're in a cover band. And a lot of those city bands, a lot of them are hiring like more on the country-ish rock side, more family oriented kind of bands. Yeah, tribute bands make more than yeah. I have a tribute band, the Hair Days, but we play like we play Bike Week and we did some of that stuff. It is good money, but we only do an hour set. That's why I was telling Teabags at one time. You go play. I play for an hour and a half and make $3,000, and I get 1,000 for that, and I give the band the rest. My left shoulder, this one or the green one. Yeah, so you play twice a year, yeah, but they probably do pay good. Like I used to play Bike Week up in near Colorado. I played there the whole week, and they paid really good. This one, the Tiger's Eye, pawn shop's late. That's a it's a NOS limited edition PV. I can't say Wolfgang. It's a PV, but they made it with the woods that were left over that Ed commissioned that he approved of. These were so they made 400 of these out of the wood that Eddie commissioned that was left over that they did never use from 1990. It's kind of like a PV reissue, yeah. I don't know what they called it. They call it NOS. What is it? NOS limited edition. Yeah, some of the big theaters pay pretty good too. But it's like if you're doing it like the Boca Theater, like Boca Black Box, no, they're not gonna play. Yeah, my dad lives in Sebastian's. Some of the clubs up there they pay okay and stuff like that, and they're the retirement communities. But it depends. Again, oh, you go to Bike Week? I used to play in the same spot. I haven't. I don't play. I do it once in a while as a favor. Yeah, it's like new old stock. Yeah, NOS. I don't do it as much anymore, but I used to go up there all the time. I just did Daytona last year, Daytona Bike Week too. I forgot what the place we played. That was a fucked up story because we ended up the band couldn't get in that was before us, so they asked us to go on early at Daytona, and we're like, "Fuck." 3 hours of music from back to back, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll pay you." We never got paid. We got paid half of the money because that was guaranteed, but the bar manager and the booking agent never got together and discussed how much they were going to pay us for helping out, and that got lost. Yeah, she looks like Lady Gaga. Yeah. I hope she 1099 herself so she can fucking write all that shit, LLC herself so she can write all that stuff off. Yeah. Yeah, I play up there too. Sturgis and Four Corners. Yeah, I've done both. My buddy Chris Carrion plays there every year. So I had Slaughter go in, and because Slaughter was playing up there, and I said, "Hey man, can you do me a favor?" Because I Timbo was up there too. I was like, "Can you guys go in and see this band if you get time?" She's not stupid. You may or may not come back. Well, fuck you, buddy. No. No, man. You got a husky puppy. That's right. I remember your old dog. How's the puppy holding up? Does it like you? Does it like you? Is he like getting adjusted like to the house? Because I know you lost your last dog and that was hard on you. That's fucking hard on me too. My wife makes me do everything for the fucking. I'm like, why do I got to do it? I love you too, brother. New old stock. How's Bo doing? He's all right. He's a good dog, man. I can't complain. Oh, really? Was the girlfriend of your lost dog? Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful at the bike weeks though, bro. Because the girls like to come up and talk. You got to be careful about that stuff. Like I know, I don't know if I should say. Like I know Eddie. He's one of the higher ups of like the Outlaws and stuff like that, and some of these other biker groups, and Wings of Gold and this MC this, and I mean it's. I know a lot of bikers. So I've been around that. I know that you have to be very careful. I tell everybody, just fucking put your blinders on and walk right into the fucking trailer. Just fucking don't even stop. Just say hi, thank you very much. I gotta run. I'm like, listen, they will beat your ass. They've been drinking, they're partying, they're wild. The girls get wild, and dude, when you're on stage, everyone's trying to talk to you at once in between songs. It's fucking crazy. And they don't they don't if you have like the hair and the look, they don't give a fuck. You have to be really careful about that stuff. It's a USA. Yeah, I got the certificate, the COA. It came with the COA. It comes with a white tweed case with the COA. And it's got the big metal PV logo on there. Nice case. That stuff's funny though, you know what I mean? What time is it? 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11, almost 3 hours. I could feel it in my back, but I knew it's getting late. I'll probably take off in like 5 minutes. So I'll work on the restream. I just gotta get used to hooking it up every time that I come on, then I can have really good sound. As far as playing. Yeah, bikers are awesome, man. They're very generous and they go out of your way. If you treat bikers with respect, I've had them help me unload gear. I've had them fucking block cars for me, getting shit across the street. I've had them watch gear. They're very fucking generous. But you start hitting on their girls, you're fucked. Yeah, you don't fuck with them. That's why, I had the best of both worlds. I'm not gonna lie. My dad was a cop. All my family were politicians. I got to hang out with bad people. I got to hang out with good people. I got to hang out with celebrities or Hollywood and musical people. I got to hang out with bikers. I got along with everybody. But that's where the stupid people and the trolls fucking don't understand. You know what I mean? You have stories, dude. I'll never forget. I was in Daytona one time playing, and I had my hair, right. So we had come off the road, and we got asked. This was the dance band. We got asked to play Bike Week back in the '80s in Daytona. I forgot what year it was. It was close to '90, and it was like a festival up there. But they used to have all the bars. They had all kinds of man. They had other place, but it was on the beach. And I remember coming off the stage, and I had to piss so bad. And we packed all the stuff up, and we had roadies and stuff. And I took some of the stage clothes off, but I left the pants on and the boots and stuff, and I just put like a shirt over, and I ran across the street into, it was called The Other Place in Ormond Beach. And I remember pissing, and there's all these fucking bikers, and I got makeup on. My hair's all, dude. I I remember them like looking at me, going, "I think you're in the wrong fucking bathroom, boy." I was like, "No, sir. I I just played across the street. I'm just gonna pee, and I'm gonna pee on my way." What did you say, Joe? You'd love to hear a couple of stories about the time performing. The hard the Hard Rock Casino would be cool. Hard Rock was all right. The Hard Rock was cool. I got introduced. That's when I gave the guitar away. That was years ago. Some of the stories, man. Which one you want to hear? I got electrocuted. I had hair caught in the door. I had, I was on a metal transfer stage once, and I had, before wireless was around, I had my cable came out and it got stuck in between the metal, and I was yanking on the cord to get out. There are so many stories where shit happened. Unbelievable. I once ran across the stage while I was playing, and there was a fucking bass player spilt a fucking pitcher of beer all over. He had it on the side by his amp, and it ran down because nothing was level. It ran off the front, and I fucking went off the side of the stage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You try to treat everybody with respect, man. But there's some funny stories like that stuff, Like I told like I don't know, I told you guys I hung out with Prince for a week. He made me feel uncomfortable, but you know, most of the time I've had my pants rip on stage and not have underwear, and like completely ripped, and had to play with, like, I was supposed to do the choreograph few moves like with expose with not in the rock band, and I had to stand with my legs close together so that my junk wasn't hanging out. I had some fucked up shit happen. You know, and then the girls would come over fucking with me, when they're dancing and stuff and laughing and trying to like yank your shirt. I'm like, fuck off, leave me alone. And people would have to run back to the trailer and then bring them, you know, pair of pants. We used shower curtains, the old shower curtains. So we had like these metal things that look like they were just poles. We made stuff out of PVC poles, and we put these curtains up. So like we used to piss, like if you had to run behind the stage, behind the amps or whatever, you piss right in a bucket or whatever, or you do a wardrobe change, you run right around the curtain. The girls are half naked over there, and you're over there trying to change, you getting your stuff on, and you're fucking with them, throwing water bottles at them and stuff. you know, there was all kinds of stupid stuff going on. you know, Squirting people with baby oil so they were just covered and slippery. Their clothes would stick to them. Oh man, you buy. The other thing we used to do too sometimes, like we said, it started we would get water guns to fill them up with vinegar, and squirting behind the stage and then run back out. They'd be singing and stuff going there, other people, and they stunk. Oh my god. I'm glad most of those videos are not out there. I know pawn shops found quite a few of them over the years, but they always end up taking them off the internet. Good times. I guess you could say that. Oh man. I've actually I told the story with the bass player. I put the tape on the stage. I said, "Don't cross that fucking line." He did. He kept putting his foot like near it, and then one time he stepped and I fucking whacked him with the headstock. He sued me. That was back when you were doing a lot of bad things back then. Oh my god. She climbed into the bed. Nice. Oh man. I'm sure Deer Creek's got some fucking stories too. Like even in the recording. So Deer Creek, like Deer Creek knows what I'll say. Like if I when I recorded like Criteria and some of these they had runners in there. So they had rooms in the back. And then you'd be sitting there, and the drummer's in the fucking there doing his fucking drum track. And you got this guy standing there, and you tell him, give me a ball and two blondes. And 10 minutes later, they're back. Doing stupid shit. One of my fondest memories. I don't remember. um, Actually, probably during the performing days was like helping people. I got to help a lot of people out. Like donating. I had a PV1 off. It was a gold medal flake. I donated that, to a charity to help his daughter who was sick. I did a lot of that kind of stuff. I was very generous that way, giving guitars away and one-off items, to help people. So that was the best part of that. It was always fun, going out and you'd hit the strip bars and the rock clubs and this and that. Even with bands like Rat and Quiet Riot and stuff like that, there was always something going on. Somebody always had something going on. But you, it was fun. It was just fun. But probably the best part of it was helping people out. Yeah, massage parlors down the road from the one studio. You could all be just camera. I made some interesting videos, dude. That's funny as shit. Oh man, the runners were the runners were the one thing, man. They couldn't say nothing to you. They were like servants. I want a bottle of Jack Jameson, this and that, and a ball. Just bring it back. They had that shit right there, fucking within 5-10 minutes every time. The girls, whatever it was, I don't know how they did it. I mean, the band, but that's why record labels would always, you were done with the tour. So where's my money? Oh, you spent that years ago in the studio, bro. There's no fucking money left. You remember all that stupid stuff you were doing? You pay for that. Quad Studios. Yeah. They had their ways. That's where I met Bill from YouTube and Google, was back with Expose. I was playing like China Club and Limelight back in New York back then, back in probably 80, 87, 88, maybe, before we blew up really big. That's how I met Bill Aikman. But there was shit going on back then too. That's when you had all those Wall Street guys and the drugs going around and all the crazy shit, even in New York. And then you had like CBGBs and all those other fucking places. There was all kinds of crazy shit everywhere. I've had girls run out of strip bars naked chasing me. Oh my God. Thank God it's after 11 and my kid's sleeping. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Yeah. Oh, you lived in combat zone for about 2 years? Yeah, that was the other thing. All those strip bars back then, some of them, like Michael Peters at the Dollhouse, they had bands. Those band fucking people made good money. They had like bands. The girls would be dancing to a band, a real live band. Some of them here, too. But those band members got paid really well. some some of those bands had other gigs and it didn't work out so well. Man, I forget the name of the bars around here, but I remember being in some of the bars where they got raided for prostitution and people running through kitchens and shit. Like fucked up shit. Yeah, they played all night long and they were fucking talented. Yeah. Like the movie Roadhouse. Yeah, there was some fucked up shit going on. Definitely. Expose mostly back in the um like mid late 80s, like around 80. I think I started putting that band together around 86. I don't remember when we came out, maybe 87, 88. I think 87, by 87, it might have been earlier. By 87, I think we were already out, like doing club dates and stuff, if I remember. Then I ended up writing for everybody, and then while I was doing that, I stayed with them for X amount of years, and then I ended up doing, like, I would sit in with like Rat and Quiet Riot a lot. And I worked with other bands, XYZ, Steelheart, all those bands. I grew up with like Lanier. Wyatt from Lanier is a friend of mine. Marilyn Manson, Brian's a friend of mine. Jordy and Twiggy and all those guys from Marilyn Manson. Rock City Angels are friends of mine. Oni Logan grew up here. Ray West from Spread Eagle grew up here. Saigon Kid grew up here. Josh Greenbound, that played with River Phoenix, grew up here. These are all childhood friends. Fucking insane the amount of people that came out of this area. Stevie B, Taylor Dane, Stevie B. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I remember Crier. I played with Paul Colt for a little bit. Yeah, after Dave Scott and all them left, they formed Tough Luck with and Jamie Marino and them. Front runner with Wally Voss ended up with Malmsteen. Paul's in New York now, I believe. I think he's a nurse. Yes, I got kicks from Coral Springs. Nah, they're from right here. I grew up with Jason. We used to call him Frankenhead. He went to Coral Springs High School. Fair fella. We were in summer school all the time. The whole fucking Coral Springs football team used to chase Jason around. You won't tell that story. He got all kinds of stories from the bands. I don't know if I could tell them all though. Dirty looks. Yeah, Paul Colt was a good singer. Like he was a great front man. But they fucked that whole deal up. What was the Freddie? What was the original guitar player in Crier? Freddie Sparks, something like that. I think he's a luthier now. Builds like high end guitars or some shit, right? Freddie Sparks, is that it? I don't. I know it's Freddie, but I don't remember him. Then after Freddie was Dave Scott, and then I was in there. I played with him for a little bit. Kevin Lyson, I played right before Kevin Lyson joined Crier, and then I played with Rathen for a little bit, and then I went back out on the road with the big bands, and then Kevin ended up going to Rathen, and then you had Desaint. Desaint was here. George from that band Tough. His brother was in that band. We had a lot of people from here, man. It's crazy. Send them my love. Thanks, man. Yeah, so it's 11:30, so I'm probably gonna wrap it up in the next minute or so. I found my Sacco. Do you remember him? 59, the game. My Sacco puppet. Yeah, I found him. Paletti guitars? No, I never even heard of. We had a guy here, Pavel. He was a really big luthier. Pavel. There was a bunch of guys here. Who was the one that worked for Kramer with Eddie? Rico Theoris. Rico Theoris worked at Musicians Exchange back in the day. He was the one that helped broker the deal with Eddie and Kramer guitars. So yeah, good night, Michael. I gotta get going soon too. I gotta get up early and get the kid going in the morning. Tomorrow he's back at school, so he went to school Thursday and Friday, and tomorrow I think they got like 3 weeks left or some shit. Then it won't matter. Then I'll use the daytime to get that read stream shit going. I'll come on live doing live streams for the fucking during the day so no one can see them, but the regular guys don't work. Yeah, man. Good night. Good night, Mr. Night Owl. Crier. I got my back against the wall. I got my back. Damn, do I remember how to play that? Dun 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 dun. No, that's back for more. Um, no, back on my feet again. I got fuck. I might have a copy of that somewhere. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and talk to stories and stuff. Thank you, Joe. If you're listening, Joe Wentz. Check out his page. He does live streams. He's got a great thing going. Him and the butcher, and they go around a lot to different guitar shops and they do some cool music and stuff. And they're putting a band together. Thank you, Joe, for the guitar. It's my pleasure um, to own a guitar by you, and an honor. Um, so thank you everybody for watching and everything, and we'll get this restream thing figured out. I'm a noob. So yeah, thanks everybody. It's always a pleasure and an honor. So I guess I feel like I need like a an outro song. Boom ba dee da boom ba dee da, happy trails to you till we meet again. Come on, Joe, you know that song. All right, everybody, peace out and thank you so much. Let's see if I can get this without knocking the other pad down. I got three things going. Ooh, that got hot too. Peace out, everybody. What happened there? Get that off. Exit. End.